Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Back in Chicago in Chodorov. Maybe 1 or 1.5 days left to Beta Zmanim. It's going to be tough. It's going to be sad. Going back to Yisroel. We have Mark Ashkenazi, Gary Ben Moshe, together with Mark Ashkenazi. How could something go wrong right now? And Yossi Klein in the studio in Muncie. I want to thank Mark Ashkenazi for donating this large screen here. Let me just show you real quickly. Look at that screen. Could you see it? It's hard to see, but anyway, it's there. So Yishkoyach, anonymous from Muncie, donated it. Mark Ashkenazi. Shkoyach Gedale. Thank you, Mark. He's not even from Chicago, and he's donating things in Chicago. Givaldik. And thank you, Yosef Ben Zev, for picking it up. And thank you, Pinchas Byrne, for coming early and setting it up and screwing it in. And Yishkoyach for the gift that you got me. And Yishkoyach for the Skokie shear. It was amazing shear. Be'ez Hashem, next time I come, we'll have to do a repeat. I don't want, we have some Givaldika Sugis today. Very easy stuff, as usual. It's Bava Basra. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Yosef Ben Zev. Thank you for the screen, for picking it up. Yankee Gans. Hi, Rebelli. I need to tell you that I started Bava Basra, and I got to the 60th daf, was crying together with you. Don't know what happened, but yeah. My client, Moshe Gottman from Muncie, posted on the status about MDY, and once I started, I got hooked. My Shabbos afternoon became so meaningful. That's when I reviewed the week's shiurim. This year, Tisha B'Av was the first time I felt the lack of not being able to learn. Thank you for your hard work. Y. Gans, Williamsburg Chassid. Yes, I have a soft spot for all Chassidim, especially Williamsburg Chassidim. And Maro Chassidim are even more. So the Oilam was sending in pictures of their vacation. We have some very cool ones. This is David Rosenfeld in Dubai. First day on my vacation in Dubai. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all. The boy said this we never had before. Check this out. Never. We have a guy learn in Entebbe, in the airport in Entebbe, where the big famous rescue of the hostages. Warren Carlos was diverted to Entebbe for bad weather. I'm sure his heart sunk. Ladies and gentlemen, we're landing in Entebbe. Oh. Not sure when last Daf Yomi was learned in Entebbe airport. My plane was diverted to Entebbe due to bad weather in Ethiopia. I managed to learn. I'm thinking I was with my entire family in Ethiopia. Imagine if he announced that and my wife is sitting next to me. I'll be black and blue. It's like, ah! I managed to learn the whole of today's daf on the plane. Not only that, I made the bracha of Sha'asa Neis B'Makom Hazeh. I don't know where you got the psak, but interesting. Mr. is right. I don't know. It sounds right. Attaches a picture of me davening with the airport in the background. Kol Tov Warren. Dear Belly, as you mentioned about your Beis Chabad idea, I wanted to share with you what's on my mind for the past few years. Every single day when I listen to your amazing Geshmak Shir introducing MDY daily portion of Chumash and Sefer HaMitzvahs, together with the emails. Could be a 10-second MDY art of the daily portion Chumash and a 10-second MDY art of the daily mitzvah. Besides the benefit, and we have to do also Lashon Hara, right? Your son is loving it. I don't know what. He thinks the jokes are funny. Besides the benefit of those that are already listening, including women and children, because MDY is very unique, that the entire household is listening, especially when there is a picture, animations, etc. This can add at least another 50,000 listeners worldwide. If we do the daily Chumash portion and mitzvah. I don't know how he figured that, but okay. I like the math. I know that everything has most art of the 83 halachas of the Rambam. Halachas. And most of the art of the daily portion of Chumash, and even if there isn't yet a picture for that day, it could be mentioned those 10 seconds without a picture. Thank you again for making the Heilige Torah so geschmack. For me, my children, entire Klal Yisrael. PS number 1. Since I joined learning every day with MDY from Megillah Daf Chav Beis, I did not miss a single day of the daily rabbi in which I'm learning now 3 program every day. PS number 2. The Lubavitcher Rebbe asked to unite Klal Yisrael through the learning of the Rambam. For those who can, should learn 3 chapters a day. For those who have less time, should learn 1 chapter a day. And for women and children to learn the daily mitzvah of the day. Rabbi say, we're getting to the end. The end, the last line is the best line of the whole thing. Every day when I'm learning Rambam, I picture in my mind, you're amazing shurim, geschmack amazing shurim in art. And we had in the Gemara, whatever. And every day I feel a tremendous hakar satov to Rebelli Shlita and the entire MDY amazing team for that. Now listen to this, Rabbi say. Your Lubavitch, your cousin, Baruch Shalom Shvei. I have a Lubavitcher cousin. He's a big Talmid Chacham. Here he is. He wrote Sfarim, the whole thing. His father was a famous Rav in Lubavitch. Yeah. Dear Rebelli, you guys want to be jealous of a vacation? Take a look at this. This is Elimelech Goldberg's picture they took himself from his balcony. Look at that. The French Alps. Send in the pictures, Rabbi. We want to be jealous. We want to share with you the Hana. And to see the Rebbeinu Shalom's Bria. It's crazy how nice it is out there. Or you can live in Chicago. It's also beautiful. Or in Brooklyn, New York. It's very beautiful. I love graffiti. I love schmack. I can't show enough appreciation for your ongoing shiurim. Or you can live in this, or in Brooklyn, you decide, or in Chicago. They have mountains here also. Where are the mountains? They have the lake. The lake is very nice. But if Mount Rushmore. It's literally 10 feet tall. I can't show enough appreciation for your ongoing shiurim throughout your travels, especially getting into all the shiurim before Tisha B'Av and on days that you're traveling. Being on the road myself, it's so hard to actually sit down to learn each and every day. Also, I totally concur with the email you read out from Akiva that doing the daf over Ben Azman is a great help for yeshiva guy not to miss a day of learning. You hear? Because Elimelech is in Kailo. Elimelech Goldberg, best regards from the French Alps, Elimelech Goldberg is in Kailo. So for a Kailo guy to learn every single day is difficult because they learn very, very hard the entire year. Then they have this Ben Azmanim. It's like, oh, I'm off. And then to sit down and to be disciplined, to sit down, it's very, very difficult. So the daf gives you that extra push. And the Koil of the Month, sponsored by Binyomin Rosenfeld, Fatzlach Business. Mesechta sponsored, I just want to see how long does it take? 7:19. Let's see how long it takes. Mesechta sponsored for the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Paras HaChodesh, Linish Zechariah ben Moshe, Linish Zechariah ben Yosef. Paras HaChodesh, Yedidya Pereira, thank you for your tfilos. Bechazei Hashem, Yehudis and Yehуда Michal was granted bail to his home in the UK. And when you granted bail to your home in the UK, you know what you do? You learn the daf. Paras HaChodesh, Binyomin Rosenfeld with gratitude to Rabbi Biderman, Rebelli, Gedale Fenster for his podcast, and Michael Safdie. Paras HaYoim, urgent TEHILLIM request. Rav Avrohom Zucker, the Rosh Yeshiva of Yeshiva Gedola or Yisroel in Flatbush, is in dire need of Rachmei Shomayim following an incident on Sunday afternoon. He has been taken to emergency surgery with a serious head injury. His name for TEHILLIM is Refoel Avrohom Nesanel ben Masha Leeba. Refoel Avrohom Nesanel ben Masha Leeba. Paras HaYoim, Refuah Shleima to the Yeshiva. Paras HaYoim, Elio Kaufman, the Nishmas Avi Meir Rav Shlomis Zalman ben Yeshaya, Yortzeit is today. Chav Gimel Menachemov, the Neshama should have an Aliyah, and the art of the month for Schuz, for Rebellion, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many 1 minute and 10 seconds of sponsors. Rabbi Isai, today we're doing Daf Samach Daled, Bezer Hashem. It's one of the simpler dapim, and we're starting from Daf Samach Gimel days on the bottom, 2 lines from the bottom, Toshma. So, a quick review. No, I didn't buy this. I didn't bring this back from my vacation. Pinchas Byrne bought me a gift to confuse the Olam. My vacation was actually in Chicago. I didn't want to tell the Olam. I took my wife down the block. No. So, to review, it goes something like this, very, very simple. When a person sells a house, halachically speaking, what does he sell? He sells the house and only the house, without any ear rights, without any land rights. Nothing below, nothing above. Shalom Aleichem, boys.
No basement?
If the basement is part of the house, yes, but not below the basement. So, if I sell you a house and I work for Hamas, I have the right to build a tunnel under your house. I can build stuff over your house. I can do all sorts. I only sold you the house in this box from purple to purple. That's it in this picture. Now, if I add the words umka veruma, which is the depth and the height, then I already bought myself ear rights and I bought myself land rights. But that doesn't include, there's another thing that does include, now it doesn't include the barvidus. It doesn't include anything significant like a water reservoir. That it doesn't include. So, Toshma, that's, who said this? Rav Dimi min Harda. Now, if Abi was here, I would ask Abi, but since he's not here, I'm going to ask you. I don't want to embarrass anybody. Chances are you're not going to remember. If somebody remembers, you're goy noilam. I'm asking the whole world, everybody that's watching this. Does anybody remember in this Masechta a very, very interesting story that happened to Rav Dimi min Harda? Who is Rav Dimi min Harda? This whole thing that we just said is Rav Dimi min Harda. So I'm going to start reminding you. It was a story where he came from another city with a bunch of groigros. He wanted to sell groigros.
It caused someone to die because.
Very good. You should be proud of your father. Tati knows the stuff. He caused somebody else to die. Basically, they fahered him, and whoever fahered him said he wasn't very good, and he made fun of him. He said, You're not even a Talmud of Rava, you're a Talmud of Rava. You're my Talmud, and I'm a Talmud of Rava. But at the end, what was interesting at that story, and then there was a whole question in Gemara, who killed him? Who killed that person? Was it his Chavrusa? Was it Rava? By a whole Daf Beis. It was a while ago. Very good. But I pointed out then, and I want to point out now, that the halacha was like Rav Dimi, even though they made fun of him, they called him, he beat Rava and the halacha over there. And the halacha is like him over here. Okay. Toshma. So, and these are all things basically that we learned already. We're doing a little bit of review here, and similar to what we had yesterday. When a person sells a house, it does not include the rights to the roof. I sell you a house, but I could go and do whatever I want on the roof. Okay? Today it's not like that. I don't know if we have special documents that say otherwise, but that's how it was in the time of the Gemara. I'm selling you a house, unless the house has this 10 tefach wall around the roof, then I sold you the roof. I'm sorry. If it has a 10 tefachim, then it's significant, and I didn't sell it to you. Otherwise, I sold it to you. Says Gemara, if in fact, without specifying it in the documents, you acquire the air rights. So what if there's a wall around the roof? That's 10 tefachim. Oh, sorry, according to you, it makes sense. You have to specify, because if you're telling me that without stam a document, I acquire everything above the roof, so why? Who cares if it's a 10 tefachim thing or not a 10 tefachim thing? I bought everything, including the air rights, and everything above. Elamai, you see that Rav Dimi is right. That what? That it doesn't include it unless you specify. Says Gemara, no, it's not a raya. Since this, you all admit to me that if I sell you a house and I have a Tesla on the roof, somehow I put my Tesla on there. Does it include the Tesla? No. Why? It's a davar chashav. It's its own little entity. So if there's a roof that has a makkah around it, it's its own entity. It's not included in the sale. That's why. But typically speaking, you do acquire air rights. Maybe. Unless you specify. I have another right. Don't worry, Shlakish. Again, something that we learned yesterday. What did Shlakish say yesterday? Means, based on the halacha that we said yesterday, that we're going to explain, people don't talk stupidity. People don't just say words. But if they say something we don't understand, we have to explain what they meant. So, if a person used extra words, he says, I am selling you this, but on condition that the roof is mine. Why do you have to say that? The roof is his anyway. Anytime you sell something, the seller gets to keep the roof. So why did he have to say, on condition that the roof is mine? So why would he repeat it? So we had two pshalim of Zid, Amashim Rotz Laitzi was Ziz Moitzi, Rapapa Amashim Rotz lived in Sali Agabe Boina. To remind you, this actually Yoshi did a little extra. Zizin is like a little beam. So Yoshi, not to confuse the oilam, but he wanted to have a little fun with it, because the shul next to us did something very similar. You know, we have an ongoing feud sort of with the shul next to us, because they built on our property, and then they did all sorts of not nice things to us. But anyways, one of the things they did was they all of a sudden they come out with these beams. When they come out with beams, no, we're not going to build there. We're not going to. And then all of a sudden, the next day, boom, they built like this whole, made out of polypach. It's called, that's how half of Yisroel is built today with that. So, anyway, so that's Zizan. Well, Rav Papa says, typically speaking, you can't put any beams over somebody. You sold the yard. You know that gray area that's enclosed, those bricks on the bottom over here? That's sold. So if it's sold, you can't all of a sudden push out a beam over it. But if I said al manas, I made a special condition, then you get to put the beams out there. And Rav Zvit said, oh, I'm sorry. Rav Zvit is the one that says you can put a beam out, and Rav Papa says, if you want to build on top, you could build. It says, and again, same kind of right that we said before. If you had to have a mina, that if I write a document and I don't write anything, ruman, no words, like honey, you don't acquire the roof, why do you have to say the words amanas? There's no reason. It's automatic. It says, so why do you say the words amanas? The nafel hadar banila. We have a little bit of a video that if this happens, let's just say, here, this, oops, wrong one. Guy's a house, right? And he sells the house. Now he's allowed to, the whole house fell down. What happened was he's allowed to build on the roof. You sell a house, you're allowed to build on the roof. But if the house falls down and it's rebuilt, then you can't build on the roof. Because it's a new house. Yeah? Nachamal. You have a house, you sell the house. In the time of the Gemara, you sell the house, you reserve the rights to build on the guy's roof. One day you come with machinery, you start building on top of the guy's house. What are you doing? It's my roof. I can build whatever I want. But if the house falls down, then you lose your rights. Now, whatever they build is a new house. It's already something else. It's a different structure. And that's why I say the word almanas to say that even if it fell down, I reserve the right to build on top of the house. Okay, Rabbi, it's a brand new sugya. Happens to be interesting. Stam, this idea of zizan, you know where you see zizan sometimes in Eretz Yisrael? When you drive in Eretz Yisrael, sometimes you ask yourself, is that an Arab village or a Jewish village? You know that ever happened to you? So one of the main siman that I have, at least, the water tank. The water tank is black, so you know that it's Arab. Another very interesting thing, if you pay attention, if you see like a 3-story structure and the metal beams, metal pipe, you know those metal things that come in the beams? How do you pour concrete? The rebar. If you see rebar sticking up on top, that's an Arab village. They're always thinking, oh, we're going to add another floor. In the Jewish place, you're not allowed to do that. Like they know that you're about to, so they make you cut it down. So it's nice and smooth on top. If you ever see rebar, it's a siman ra. Zog the Gemara, says the Mishnah, lo yisabar v'lo yisadus. So let's just see bar dus for a second. The Gemara is going to explain what the difference is. If there's a difference, but we'll show it to you first. Var is a water reservoir that you just dig in the ground. You don't put any, what's the word? No lining, just not reinforced lining, no lining, just pure dirt. Pour water into dirt, and then you're going to use that for your drinking water. It's going to be geschmack. Or you could do a nice brick inlay or something like stone. That's a dus. Okay, it's the same thing basically. Masha Leeba, I don't want to go there again, but Hamas, Yimach Shemam, they dig the dirt, but then they put the cement dus. They put a dus in there. We gotta blow up the dusin. So loy is a bar, veloy is a dus. When I sell you a house, it does not include any water, cistern, reservoir, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't include it. I'm selling you a house. Shalom Yisroel. So if we go back to this picture, when I sell you a house, all it includes from the roof of the house to the bottom, to the basement, but that's it. Not above the roof. I didn't sell you anything, any ear rights, and I didn't sell you below. Now, if I wrote the words umka veruma, then that includes ear rights and includes the land rights, but it doesn't include significant items like a bar and a dus. So this is a sugya that we already had in Bava Basra. When I sell you something, do I leave myself the right of way, a passage to get there? I sell you a house, but I don't sell you the garage. How do I get to the garage? Can I go through your driveway? So Rebbe Akiva says that you cannot go through the guy's driveway. So how do I get there? You have to purchase extra rights. You go to him, listen, I messed up. I didn't sell you the garage, but how am I going to get my car there? Could I please buy the rights? Here's another $100,000 I could get through to my garage. So at the end of the day, what's the machlokes? The Gemara is going to go through all the tzdadim. That's the Amud Beis. Maybe it means this, three different ways. But the bottom line is we have a svara called moicher b'ayin yafa moicher. There's a person large. When he sells with the ability to get there, or without. Like, I'm selling you everything, including the pathway, including the driveway. I'm selling you everything. I'm not going to leave for myself driveways. Even though I left for myself the garage, but I'm selling you b'ayin yafa, I'm selling you everything, even the pathway. And Chacham hold no, b'ayin ra moicher. He's stingy, and he sells the least he could get away with. So Mela, he kept for himself a way to get there. So this is very interesting. This is a continuation of the logic that we used yesterday, that when a person says something, he means it. He doesn't say shtusim. Person doesn't talk stam. So when a person says, I'm selling you everything, but I'm not selling you the bar, why does he have to say it? Think about it. Why does he have to say it? It's automatic that the bar is not included. So why did he have to add those words? Oh, he added those words because what he meant to say is, I'm leaving myself a pathway. And therefore, according to Rebbe Akiva, in this case, he doesn't have to purchase the pathway. Now, what if he sold only the bar, only the swimming pool? That does not include the house, obviously. So in this case, it's the reverse. Rebbe Akiva said before that he has to purchase away, but over here he says you don't have to purchase away. He sold only the bar, but not the house. Why? Because moicher b'ayin yafa moicher. So he sold him a bar, but Rebbe Akiva is with the same logic of moicher b'ayin yafa. He sells him the bar, but he's large and he gives him the pathway. So the guy that buys the bar doesn't have to purchase another pathway because he sold him. It comes with it. Why? Because he's large. No, a person sells b'ayin ra, he has a stingy eye, so he doesn't give him the way. It's the same logic, but comes out of reverse halacha. When I'm selling the house and I'm not selling the bar, so I'm large, I gave you everything. I sold you the whole house and I don't leave it. It doesn't come with it. The pathway doesn't come with it for me. But when I sell you only a bar, I sell you a swimming pool in my basement. How are you going to get to the swimming pool? So I was large. I gave you the ability to get to the swimming pool. So this is one of the easiest Gemaras of all time. And it's actually like 10 lines. Mamash a freebie. Yosef Ravina v'kakashile. Ravina asked the question, Hainu bar, hainu dus. Why does the Mishnah say bar dus? So we already know the answer. They're both in the same exact thing. They both serve the same purpose. El shabor b'chafiro v'adus bebinyan. A bar is just digging into the ground without a lining. V'hadus bebinyan, and dus has a lining. That is the sugya, and the Gemara is going to repeat it again. But let me ask you a question. Why are these two things in the Mishnah? Who cares? So one has a lining and one doesn't. One is black and one is red. Does it make a nafkamina? Doesn't make a nafkamina. So the Rashbam says it makes a beautiful nafkamina. Look at the Rashbam, 3 lines from the bottom. You know why it's included or not included? Because you dig it. A dus that has a stone lining, so it's very similar to a house, so maybe it's included in the house because it's the same materials. You hear? That's the nekuda. V'itana dus. But if it only say that it has a lining, mishum de binyan b'fnei atzmi u'v'choshev, that's why it didn't sell. Maybe it did sell because it's not choshev, it's tzricha. Okay. So the Rashbam just says that it's not stand that one has a lining and one doesn't have a lining. The fact that it has a lining makes it more similar to the house or less similar to the house. If it doesn't have a lining, therefore, this is as far as to say it is included or not included. And now the same Gemara again. 6 lines from the bottom. What's the difference? A bar and dos. The karka, the both in the ground. Next sugya. Kiva says, if you sell the house and you left yourself the swimming pool, the bar, you still have to purchase a way to get there. So what is the logic of the machlokes Daf Samach Amud Beis? We went through this, so this is Chazar again. Rabbi Kiva says this shaila is: does a person sell with a largeness, and he gives him everything and doesn't leave himself a way to get to his own swimming pool? No, he sells him the least he could possibly sell him. Oh, mehacha. So now the Gemara just sticks in another line that anywhere in Shas that it says this machlokes about moicher ba'in yafa moicher ba'in ra, we had a Daf Lamed Zayin. Yeah, I'll remind you. We had a machlokes or a shaila. If a person sells a bunch of trees and then the trees die, who gets to plant new trees there? Do I sell it to you with the ground, without the ground? Okay. So the Gemara says, Mehacha, this is the source right over here.
The difference in number of trees are being sold, doesn't it? I think it's like 3 trees.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the logic behind are you selling with the into the ground all the way down to the bottom? V'chulu. Sponsored by Yisroel Sher. You're right. That was also another nekuda. How many trees? Sponsored by Yisroel Sher, construction management and supervision in the life share community, protecting families today before tomorrow's unexpected loss, and by Kinnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Rabbi Avrohom Pressman and Fischl. And this is Chus V'Akiv Simcha Mefeigo and Rivka Yudas Bas Yavachaya. Says the Gemara, who told you that that's the machlokes? You decided that the machlokes is moicher ba'in yafa moicher. Here, this concept in Shas, moicher ba'in yafa moicher. Does a person sell when large or not large? Who told you that's the shayla? So the Gemara does a classic thing. We're going to end up with this, that it's moicher ba'in yafa, that's the machlokes. Moicher ba'in yafa moicher or moicher ba'in rav moicher. But before we get there, we have to prove it. Who told you? It could be a number of different things, and that's today's sugya. To the bottom of the Amud. Says Gemara, Dilma Rebbe Kiva Sovar ein adam roitz shita moisa v'idrusu acherim. I don't want to buy something and then somebody else is going to come to my house and step all over the place. Who? I'm sorry. I'm going to buy a house. Yeah, I'm going to buy a house. And the seller is going to keep on coming into my house. Here, look. This is for the kids. I wouldn't show it otherwise, but we have some kids here, so why not?
Hi, me again.
down to his dus. Every 5 minutes, knock on the door. I sold you a house, I get to come in. Can I eat a sandwich peacefully? It's for you guys, okay? No. Tzver Tzvi? Both? Weizen? Oh. Zog the Gemara. Memai, Dilmer Rabbi Kiva Sova ein Adam Roitz Shita Mois Vidrusu Acherim. Berabon and Savri ein Adam Roitz Shita Mois V'yifrach Ba'avir. Oh, we have another one. Here we go. So here's the problem. A guy sold a house. It doesn't include the pool. He keeps the pool for himself. So the question is, how is he going to get into the pool? So we already solved that problem earlier in the Masechta. But the problem we had is, how does he get out of the pool? So today we solved that. Oh, looks like he get in. Now how does he get out? He thought he could do it. Oh, this reminds me. But sometimes it fails. Okay. Some guy came over to me, he says, listen, you have a drone. I want to go fishing with a drone. See, it sounded like a great idea at the time. He's like, how do you fish with a drone? So you take I'm not a big, I don't think I ever went fishing before that. It's like, okay, so instead of taking the worm, putting it on you take the worm, you put it on a reel that's attached to the drone. You take the drone, you send it out deep, and it drops the lure like 1,000 feet off the ocean. And then you bring your drone back. So you have like the fishing rod on the shore. You attach the lure to the drone.
All right, we're taking it out.
You fly it out. Lamaisa worked. We didn't
drone.
catch anything. I was able to, but one time the thing got stuck in my drone fell into the ocean. It was over. That was it.
See,
don't do that. It's
sometimes
not,
that's
don't
what you
try it
get,
at
the
home.
risk of dropping your drone.
I'm saying that based on this, it's drones are geschmack and everything, but they don't always work. So the Gemara says, "Ein adam roitzer shito mois v'yivraver." But I'm selling you my house, and now in order for me to use my pool, I have to fly through the air. There's a Masha Leeba where a guy, his name was Ami Epstein, in Yisroel. He was part of the city of Rehovot, and they said they didn't like something he did or whatever, so they made this thing that he cannot come to his house. So he got a helicopter, and he flew in with the helicopter. He said, I didn't go to my house. So there's a whole shaila, did he break the rule and this? Pereira ba'aver. Okay? Zog the Gemara. Ve'elo miseifa. Again, we're trying to figure out, how do we know this idea that a person sells with a largeness, moicher ba'an yafa? So we'll go to the end of the Mishnah. Again, the Mishnah had two cases. A case where a person sold his house minus the pool, and the case where a person sold his pool minus the house. What's interesting is, the rest of the Gemara is the exact same thing. It's a repeat. But on another Mishnah in like 10 daf or less, where it has the same exact case, but a person sold his field minus the pool, or a person sold the pool minus the field. It's the same case, but instead of a house, it's a field. So says the Gemara, and that's why it's so easy today. Zog the Gemara. Oh, what does it say in the Sefer? If you sold the pool, you sold the bar to somebody, but you didn't sell the house, you don't have to purchase away, because I sold, the guy that bought the bar doesn't have to purchase a right of way. It comes with a path. He doesn't need to. So l'chayra, now, what could the svar in the machlokes be? What could the logic be here? We cannot say that it's the same logic that we tried to say before, that maybe a person doesn't want that other people should step in his house. Why? Because Rebbe Kiva is the one that says a person doesn't want that people should step in his house. But in this case, if you remember, Rebbe Kiva and Rabbanan are the reverse. Rebbe Kiva says, Ein tzarech. So what, a person does want that he should step in his house? He just said he doesn't. So the svar of stepping in the house doesn't work here. So we must say l'chayr that the machlokes is Ba'in yafa moicher or not ba'in yafa moicher? So says the Gemara, Dilma, no. Who told you? Again, I'm not convinced that the machlokes is, does a person sell with a largeness? Rabbi Akiva says, he sells with a largeness. He gave him the path. No.
The difference what she sold first, the house or the pool?
No, he only sells one. He only sells one thing. He sells the house. It doesn't include the bar. Or he sells the bar. It doesn't include the house. So the Gemara says, Dilma, who told you? Maybe machlokes is different. Dilma b'haipli. The Rabbi Akiva sover boser. What do I care? Do I care about the purchaser or do I care about the seller? What does the purchaser want? The purchaser obviously wants a pathway. Or do I go by the seller? Why do I go by the seller, not by the purchaser? Because it goes like this. Yad balashtar ala tachtoina. That a person who buys, he's the underdog. He has the underhand. The upper hand, I don't know if there's such a word. The upper hand goes to the seller. Yad balashtar ala tachtoina. You should have written in the shtar. You have a shtar that doesn't say it. So it's your problem. That's the buyer's problem. The seller has the upper hand. I don't want to forget to show you this. I got a nice email from Kobe Sella. He's a TV personality guy in Yisroel who interviewed me, and he does the daf, and he's very good at it. So, talking about air rights, so he says that he was in Miami, he was in Hollywood, Florida, and he noticed he was in the Hard Rock Hotel, and when he was in the Hard Rock Hotel is in the shape of a guitar, and on top of the guitar there's the handle of the guitar. How do you call it? The piece with the strings. So the 6 strings are 6 lasers that go 7 miles into the air or something. So he asked what's going on here, and he said that the owners are Indians, and they wanted to build a really tall hotel. It's pretty tall now, but they wanted to build even taller. And the local authorities didn't allow them. Why? They said because it'll disturb the takeoff and the landing of the Fort Lauderdale airport, which, by the way, that's where I became a pilot. So if anybody wants to know the exact year, Fort Lauderdale. Why? Because here in Chicago, I used to live in Chicago, and in Chicago the weather was terrible, so I decided to go over there. So the Indians were very upset that. Oh boy, what's he doing? Recording. The Indians were upset. I can't read it though. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one. So what they did is they were upset that they didn't allow us. They said, you know what? We're going to do something that they won't be able to take off and land anyway. We have the air. Then they put up these lasers to mess. You don't want to let us build a building? We'll do something that nobody could take off and land. And here's the picture. This is a video that he took himself. I found this picture online. You can see the lasers up into the air. And this is the one on the right he took himself. If you look closely, you can see the laser. It's hard to see it. In my picture, you see it a little bit better. Oh, now you can see it. It's a gorgeous hotel. Wow. This is like, what a waste. Like when the guitar goes in, there's like, no, okay, whatever. But it's something to remember, I guess. Ear rights. So says the Gemara. So now we're going to do the same thing all over again, but from the next mission on Daf Aleph. If I sell you a field that doesn't include the bar, whether you use it or whether you don't use it, and the Rabbi Akiva says that if I sell you the field, it doesn't include the swimming pool, and the owner, the seller, has to buy a path because otherwise he can't get to it. So the question is, why do I have to say the same halacha twice? Once in our sugi about a house, once about a field. So Chayra is coming to teach us this. Oh, it's coming to tell this exact question that we had, this svara. Is it because a person sells? The reason why I doubled the lashon is to say that that's the svara. No, maybe each one has a special tzrichusa, a special chiddush. What's tzricha? Why? A house is supposed to be a private place for a person. So if it's private, I don't want a person knocking every 2 minutes and asking if he could come inside to take some water because he owns the water tank. But I don't care if a guy comes into my field. What's the big deal? I don't need privacy in my field. A field is something that's very hard when people walk on it. Maybe it's not such a big deal if people walk into your house. So I want to tell you this story. I just thought about it while I was saying the Hebrews here. I thought it was a beautiful story that they asked this guy, you're a Bava Basra, you're a Gvir. How are you Zoicha to such sons, Talmidei Chacham? Sometimes you see Gvir Zoicha to real Choshev, Edims and like Rabbi Reichenbach, you have Gvirim and you have Gvirim. So he said that when Rabbi Chanan Wasserman, I think it was, came to his house, knocked on the door, it was the middle of the winter, and he's wearing these boots full of mud and snow. So Rabbi Chanan didn't want to come to the house. He said, take me from the side door. So the Gvir said, no, I want my kids to see how much I love Talmidei Chachamim. I love the mud on their feet. I don't want to make them go around. Come right through the front door, step on my carpet. I don't care. I want you to come here. I want them to see it. The chashivas that he had for Talmidei Chachamim. Okay. So says the Gemara. There's just, I remember because it says dafsha. In a house, people don't care when you step. Well, it depends, in the winter or not. Elam Seifa. So that Mishnah that repeats the same halach that we had here also has the same Seifa that we have over here. Again, the ratio is when a person sells his field but doesn't sell the swimming pool. The Seifa is he sells the swimming pool, doesn't sell the field. Well, the Gemara asks, so you're going to tell me the difference between the two is one is a house, one is a field. Well, each one has a Maila and a Chisar. But why do I need the Seifa? I can learn the Maila and the Chisar and from the Reish. I don't need the Seifa. Hasulamali. Hainu hach. It's the same thing. The bottom line is, like we started off all the way in the beginning, that a person sells by Yafa, according to Rabbi Kiva and according to Rabbanon, Moicher buying Ra Moicher, Shmamino, Rabboisai. Have a
wonderful day.
Now, hold on. I didn't hear you guys. What are you saying? You said it?
Have a wonderful day.
Shkoyach or night, depending where you are.